Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to do an overview and demo of DeepSeek, and specifically I'm going to talk about DeepSeek.com. In recent months, the company DeepSeek has revolutionized the AI world, and one of the very unique things about DeepSeek is most of their models are mostly open source, and also the code is open source. And you can check out their GitHub page, and also they have a Hugging Face page if you want to check out specifically downloading the models and also the code. And to go to DeepSeek, you would just go to deepseek.com. And specifically for this video, I'm just going to talk about the chatbot, deepseek.com. And deepseek.com is kind of like chatgpt.com or like Google Gemini in that it's a chatbot and it's super smart. Again, so you can go to deepseek.com and you might see it in Chinese. If you want to change it to English, you can click on an English button in the upper right and you can make an account. And recently making an account has become much easier. And then once you make an account, you'll see a blank, sort of a blank canvas. But this is, I asked it 2 questions and I just wanted to show you what this might look like. I asked it a question, teach me how humans might terraform the planet Venus. Okay, this is a rather, it's an interesting science question, but the answer is very complicated. But I think this gave a very great answer. And I also asked it about the deep biosphere. So this is about life that lives very deep, either in the oceans or very deep in the earth. So for example, the deepest known life has been detected about 5 kilometers below continents and over 10 kilometers below the ocean. So I think that gave a really great answer. And in this video, I'm going to go over some interesting questions, for example, summarizing things and others. So I wanted to go over this question here, the one about terraforming Venus. If you want to actually copy the output, okay, so if you want to copy the output, you can click on the copy button like here, and it's going to give it as markdown code like that, which this is markdown code. It's kind of like HTML code, but a little bit different. And you can use a website, for example, markdown to html.com. If you paste it in like this, then it will give it in something that's more familiar, like formatted HTML code. And if you want to put it into, for example, Google Docs, you can make a Google Doc and then paste that output. I think that's very beautiful, beautifully formatted. And now I'm going to show you how to ask it some other questions. Okay, so briefly again, you can copy the output like this, you can regenerate it, and you can give feedback if you want, like, dislike. Now what I want to do is show you how to summarize a job posting. So for example, let's say you search for data analyst and you're searching in Australia, for example. There's several different job postings, but let's say you wanted to search this one for some reason, senior data analyst. So what we can do is copy all this text and give it to DeepSeek. You'd say, summarize the following job post. And I'll come, right now this is what it looks like. I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so that actually took less than 10 seconds. I think it wasn't, not too bad. So it talked about where it's located. That's Brisbane, that's Queensland. And it gives information about salary. And the role is that the Crime and Corruption Commission seeks a senior data analyst. They want these skills, SQL, Power BI, Tableau. So you can use DeepSeek to summarize jobs. And then let's say, for example, you wanted to search for a job in Hong Kong. This is yet another one. This is a data analyst job. Let's say you wanted to copy this. And let's summarize this one now. Summarize the following job post. Now what I want to show you the full output so you see what it looks like actually running it. So it's pretty fast, I think. Even just 1 year ago, AI would have likely been much slower, and this seems really fast. I think it's great. So both the Australia job and the Hong Kong job, I think the prompts did a great job of summarizing them. And one of the great benefits of AI is that it can massively speed up your productivity, or massively improve your speed and effectiveness, and massively increase your productivity. And then, of course, if you wanted to copy this, you can just click on copy. Okay, now let's say that you want to you want to summarize a chapter from a book, for example. Let's say Alice in Wonderland. This book is in the public domain. I'm on Gutenberg.org. And let's say we want to summarize the first chapter. It's possible DeepSeek has already been trained on this because this is one of the most famous books in the world. But let's just pretend that it isn't. We can say, summarize the following book chapter. But I want to include the misspelling to see how smart it is. It probably will be able to just move on and not have to worry about the misspelling. So I copied the chapter 1 of Alice in Wonderland, and I said summarize the following book chapter. And let's see how this is going to go. And given how fast it was last time, I think it's okay to show you the whole thing running now. So, bored and restless while sitting with her sister, young Alice spots a white rabbit wearing a waistcoat and clutching a pocket watch. And I like that it gives the themes and moments and notable quotes. So, would you like an analysis of specific symbols or connections to later events? So, it's probably already trained on this book, but I think it gave a really great answer. Okay, now I want to summarize another chapter. Again, this is something it may have already been trained on, but this is a famous book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor, and he's considered one of the most famous Stoic philosophers. So what I want to do is summarize the first book. That's the first part of Meditations. There's some commentary on it, but I'm not interested in the commentary. To say, summarize this chapter in a book. So I'm giving it Meditations. Again, it might have already been trained on it, but I'm still interested to know how it can summarize. Summary of Meditations, Book 1, Debts and Lessons. Okay, so I guess he's already been trained on it, but I still think this is a great answer. So it talks about Marcus, and this book was kind of written for Marcus himself. I don't know that he necessarily thought anyone was going to read it, or at least he would have gotten so famous for it. So he talks about teachers and mentors and his family members, and a lot of it is just kind of notes for himself. It's a moral autobiography, and I think this is a great answer. Okay, now I want to ask it a question to give some advice. So previously, it's summarizing 2 different books, and it gave some answer to some science questions, and it summarized some jobs. Now I want to ask it to give some tips for a job, getting a job. Now I'm saying data analyst here, but you could substitute almost any job. So I'll read the prompt for you. Give tips for how to get a data analyst role within 3 months. Can one use the same resume for every employer, or is it better to customize the resume for each job? I want to be efficient with time, but also maximize results. Also, is it better to apply to many jobs on sites like Indeed and LinkedIn, or only apply to jobs I find interesting? Give me the best tips. So for this question, I'm going to ask it twice. First, I'm going to use the default model, and then in a moment, I'm going to use DeepThink R1, and this is considered kind of their smartest model, at least on DeepSeek.com. So first, let's run it with the default model, and then we'll use the more powerful model. So again, I'm asking it for tips for, and this was maybe a bit of a complicated question, and even an expert sort of advisor might not even give tips as good as this. So let's see. So use a hybrid approach. For example, resume tips, use a hybrid approach. Create a master resume with all skills and experiences. Customize the top 25%. Okay, that is excellent advice, and I've read a book that gave similar advice. Format, clean, one page, ATS friendly, no graphics. Keyword optimize your headline. I think that's correct. Build a portfolio. So you have different projects, SQL, Python, R, buy tools. So this is for data visualization. Excel, this is a spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be Excel, it could be Google Sheets or something like that. And yeah, I think this gives really great advice. So for example, I like the advice it gave, have a master resume and customize the top 25%. Yeah, this is really great advice. And now what I want to do again is I'm going to ask the same question, but I'm going to ask the smarter model. So it says here, think before responding to solve reasoning problems. So it's going to think better, whatever that means, and I think it's probably going to give an even better answer. So let's see. So notice it's probably going to say it's thinking. Okay, so this is taking a little bit longer, but it's also a smarter model. Okay, so let's see here. It says it's thinking. Okay, let's tackle this query. The user wants to land a data analyst role in 3 months. They're asking about resume customization and where to apply. So I think this is really interesting output. Now this isn't the output we're actually going to copy. You'll see in a moment. So here's a time-efficient, results-driven plan. Resume strategy. Hybrid approach, save time, maximize input. Do not use the same resume for each job, but don't start from scratch each time. Yeah, I think that's a great tip. And apply to both types of jobs, but split your efforts. So 60% targeted applications, companies you like, 40% high volume applications. That is an interesting strategy. Filter for posted less than 7 days, autofill tools, aim for 10 to 15 quick applications a day. I think that's great. That's really great. And then it talks about making a killer portfolio. I think that's important. Crush interviews, prepare for these. SQL and Python, work on mock interviews, network efficiency. Okay, this is really, really great output. And even let's copy it and put it in the Google Doc. So that's what it looks like. I think that's really great output. And yeah, I'll give it a like. I think that's a great answer. So let's do a recap now. I'm just going to do a review for this video. So I asked it a question, terraforming Venus. That's a complicated question, a science question. I think it gave a great answer. I asked another science question, teach me about the deep biosphere. That's about life that's either super deep in the ocean or below the crust. So it's an interesting topic in my opinion. I had it summarize a job post in Australia. I had it summarize a job post in Hong Kong. And I had it summarize 2 chapters, a chapter from 2 different books. So summarize 2 chapters. And then I had it give me some resume and job advice using their default model. And then I asked it using R1, their smarter model. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you could subscribe to or follow the channel. And see you in the next one. Thank you.